B.Ed Semester 1 Philosophy Module 3 Features and Issues of Indian Society. Multiculturalism, Unity in Diversity. Multiculturalism in India. India is one of the most multicultural countries in the world. People of different religions, language, caste, race and regions live together. This is the essence of multiculturalism. Different cultures coexisting within the same country. Multiculturalism refers to a society that consists of people from diverse cultural, religious, linguistic and ethnic backgrounds living together. In India, despite all these differences, people share a sense of belongingness to one nation. That is called unity in diversity. Unity in diversity. This phrase beautifully describes the Indian way of life. Despite all the difference, whether in food, dress, festival, customs or belief, Indians live together as one nation. For example, in the south, people speak Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam or Kannada. In the north, they speak Hindi, Punjabi or Urdu. Yet all are Indians. Hindus celebrate Diwali, Muslims celebrate Eid, Christians celebrate Christmas and Sikhs celebrate Baishakhi, and many people join each other in these celebrations. Each state has its own folk dance, music, art but there's mutual respect and cultural exchange. Why is multiculturalism important for India? It promotes tolerance, respect and peace. It creates a rich heritage. India is famous for its art, festival and food because of its diversity. It encourages creativity, new ideas and innovation through cultural interaction. Features: religious diversity. India is home to major religions like Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Sikh, Buddhism, Jainism. Linguistic variety. India has 22 official recognized languages and hundreds of dialects. Ethnic and racial diversity. People from various racial backgrounds like Aryans, Dravidians, Mongoloids, etc. coexist. Cultural richness. Each region has its own traditions, festivals, cuisines and art forms. But there is mutual respect among communities. Shared national identity. Despite differences, Indians celebrate national symbols like the flag, national anthem and festivals like Independence Day and Republic Day together. Challenges to multiculturalism in India. Even though multiculturalism is a strength, it sometimes faces challenges. Religious conflict or communal riots. Caste-based discrimination or untouchability. Regionalism like Sons of the Soil movements. Language dispute. Example, Hindi versus non-Hindi states. Politicians using identity politics to divide people. These challenges threaten unity and must be addressed through education, awareness and inclusive policies. Issues. Communalism. Tensions or conflicts based on religious differences can sometimes lead to violence. Regionalism. Excessive loyalty to one's own region can lead to demand for separate states or special privileges. Caste-based discrimination. Although legally abolished, casteism still creates social division in many parts of the country. Language conflicts. At times, Disputes arise over the preference or imposition of one language over another. Identity politics. Political parties sometimes exploit religions, regional or caste identities for electoral gains, deepening divisions. Government's role. The Indian Constitution supports multiculturalism through secularism, equal respect for all religions, fundamental rights, example right to language, religion, culture, policies to protect minorities, tribes and backward classes. So multiculturalism is not just a feature of Indian society, it is its very foundation. India's strength lies in its ability to celebrate differences while staying united as one nation. Unity in diversity is what makes India truly unique in the world. So India's strength lies in its ability to embrace diversity while maintaining unity. The idea of unity and diversity continues to define India's identity, although continuous efforts are needed to address emerging issues and ensure peaceful coexistence. Inequality and marginalization. What is inequality? Inequality means a condition where some people have more advantages like wealth, education, power, while others have fewer or none. These differences are not always based on ability or hard work. Often they are created by historical, social or structural factors. Types of inequality in India. Types of inequality in India. Economic inequality. A small percentage of people hold most of the country's wealth. Poor families may not afford basic needs, food, shelter, education. Social inequality. Caused by caste system, gender roles, religious bias, etc. Some people are respected while others are looked down upon. Educational inequality. Children from poor or rural backgrounds don't have the same access to good schools or colleges. Girls may drop out early due to family pressure or safety issues. Health inequality. Rich people can afford private hospitals while poor people may not get proper treatment. Rural areas often lack clinics or doctors. So inequality happens when resources like wealth, education, health services and power are not shared equally. In India, inequality can be seen in many forms: economic, rich versus poor; social, high caste versus low caste; gender, men versus women; regional, developed states versus underdeveloped states, etc. What is marginalization? Marginalization is the process of excluding individuals or groups from full participation in society. These groups are pushed to the margins or edges of society and often ignored or discriminated against. They face fewer opportunities, social rejection, lack of political voice, poor access to education, healthcare, employment. So marginalization happens when certain groups are pushed to the edges of society and denied full participation. Marginalization groups often have little control over their lives, limited access to resources and low visibility in decision-making process. In India, groups like Dalit, tribes, Adivasis, religious minorities, women, disabled people and LGBTQ communities are often marginalized. Scheduled caste, SC, Dalit, historically treated as untouchables under the caste system. Even today, some face violence or denial of entry to temple and public spaces. Scheduled tribes ST Adivasi often live in forest and hill, lost their home due to mining, dams or development without fair compensation. Women and girls denied equal opportunities in work, education or inheritance, face domestic violence, wage gaps and low political representation. Religious minorities may face discrimination in jobs or housing. Their customs or festivals are sometimes misunderstood or criticized. Transgender and LGBTQ plus community, often not accepted by families or society, struggled to find jobs, housing or even legal rights. Person with disabilities. Many places are not accessible. Example, no ramps or elevators. Stereotypes about their ability prevent them from getting job or education. LGBTQ. L. Lesbian. A woman who is romantically, emotionally and or sexually attracted to other women. സ്ത്രീക്ക് മറ്റ് സ്ത്രീകളോട് പ്രണയമോ വൈകാരികമായ അടുപ്പമോ തോന്നുന്ന അവസ്ഥ. ഗേ. A man who is romantically, emotionally and or sexually attracted to other men. This term can sometimes be used to refer to all people who are attracted to the same sex. പുരുഷന് മറ്റ് പുരുഷന്മാരോട് പ്രണയമോ വൈകാരികമോ ആയ അടുപ്പമോ തോന്നുന്ന അവസ്ഥ. ബൈസെക്ഷുവൽ. A person who is romantically, emotionally or sexually attracted to more than one gender, not necessarily at the same time or in the same way. ഒന്നിലധികം ലിംഗങ്ങളിലുള്ള വ്യക്തികളോട് പ്രണയമോ വൈകാരികമായ അടുപ്പമോ തോന്നുന്ന അവസ്ഥ. ട്രാൻസ്ജെൻഡർ. A person whose gender identity is different from the sex they were assigned at birth. Gender identity is an individual's internal sense of being male, female, both, neither or somewhere else along the gender spectrum. ജനിക്കുമ്പോൾ നിർണ്ണയിക്കപ്പെട്ട ലിംഗത്തിൽ നിന്ന് വ്യത്യസ്തമായ ലിംഗം ഉള്ള വ്യക്തി. ലിംഗ സ്വത്വം എന്നത് ഒരാളുടെ ആന്തരികമായ പുരുഷൻ, സ്ത്രീ രണ്ടും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മറ്റ് എന്തെങ്കിലും ലിംഗത്തിലുള്ള സ്വയം തിരിച്ചറിവ്. Queer. This term has a complex history. It was once used as a derogatory slur but has been reclaimed by some members of the LGBTQ plus community as an umbrella term for sexual and gender minorities who are not heterosexual. It can also be used as an identifier in itself, expressing a no-binary understanding of sexuality or gender. How inequality and marginalization are connected. Inequality leads to marginalization because when one group has more wealth, power or prestige, others get left behind. Marginalized groups face double disadvantage. They have fewer resources and also suffer social exclusion. Major causes in Indian society: caste system, tribal isolation, gender discrimination, religious minorities, economic inequality. The rich and poor divide is very sharp, especially in urban areas. Effects of inequality and marginalization. Social exclusion. Marginalized people are often treated as outsiders in their own country. Poverty and poor living conditions. They have limited access to land, health, education, and job. Lack of voice. Marginalized communities are underrepresented in government, law, and media. Psychological impact. Constant discrimination creates feeling of inferiority, anger, and hopelessness. Conflict and instability. Social injustice can lead to movements, protest, and sometimes violence. Government's effort to address. Reservation policies. Seats are reserved for SC/ST and OBCs. Special schemes, programs like scholarship, free education, rural employment. Legal protection, laws against caste discrimination like the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act, laws for women's rights, minority rights, etc. Social awareness campaign. So examples: Dalit facing discrimination in accessing temple or water sources. Tribal groups displaced due to mining project but not properly compensated. Muslim communities having lower average literacy and employment rates compared to national average. Women having less representation in parliament and fewer leadership roles. Impact of liberalization, privatization, and globalization (LPG) on Indian society. Liberalization refers to removing unnecessary government control and restrictions in the economy to allow more freedom to private business and markets. It began in India in 1991 when the government was facing a severe financial crisis. Background: in 1991, India adopted major economic reforms called LPG reforms, reducing government control over the economy, privatization, allowing private players in sectors once dominated by the government. Globalization, connecting the Indian economy with the global economy, increasing international trade, investment, and cultural exchange. Major changes and impact of Indian society. Economic growth. India's GDP growth accelerated. New industries like IT, telecom, and finance grew rapidly. Urban areas developed fast, creating a rising middle class. Employment patterns. Growth of private sector jobs, especially in services, in IT, banking, tourism. Increase in contractual and informal jobs, often less job security. Rural-urban migration increased as people moved to cities for work. Social inequality. Income inequality widened. Rich become richer faster than the poor. Urban areas grew rapidly, but rural and backward regions often lagged behind. Consumerism and lifestyle changes. Greater availability of global brand and luxury goods. Increased consumerism. People spend more on gadgets, car, fashion, fast food. Western influence in fashion, food habits, and entertainment increased. Education and skill development. Growth of private school, colleges, and universities. More focus on English medium education and technical skills like IT management, agriculture. Farmers faced competition from cheap imported goods. Shift towards cash crops rather than food crops to earn more, leading to issues like soil depletion. Rise in farmer suicides due to debt, crop failure and market instability. Privatization of services. Private companies entered sectors like healthcare, education, banking and transport. Improved quality of services for those who could afford them. However, poor people often faced exclusion from quality services. Cultural impact. Global media brought foreign ideas, film, fashion and lifestyle into Indian homes. Traditional cultures faced challenges. Women empowerment. More job opportunities for women. Exposure to global ideas lead to greater awareness about women's rights and gender equality. Environmental impact. Rapid industrialization and urbanization lead to deforestation, pollution and depletion of natural resources. Increased environmental awareness with growth in NGOs and environmental movements. Liberalization. Liberalization refers to removing unnecessary government controls. Major change. Reduced import tariff and tax, fewer restriction on industrial licensing, encouraged foreign investment, easier rules for starting and operating private business. Social impact, economic growth, urbanization, consumerism, uneven development, stress on public service, more demand for electricity, transport and housing cities. Privatization. Privatization means transferring ownership or management of public government owner enterprises to private companies. The aim was to improve efficiency, reduce government burden and encourage competition. Major changes, sale of government companies to private players, example Air India, telecom sectors. Encouragement of private investment in sectors like education, health, transport, banking, etc. Social impact, better services, job losses. Many government employees lost jobs due to restructuring and downsizing. Increased prices. Private companies focused on profit, which sometimes made services more expensive. Wider inequality. Globalization. Globalization means greater interaction and integration with the global economy in terms of trade, investment, culture and technology. After 1991, India opened up to the world, allowing foreign companies to invest and trade freely. Major changes, entry of multinational companies, MNCs in India, example Coca-Cola, Samsung, growth of outsourcing and IT sectors. Exposure to international media, fashion and culture. Social impact, youth empowerment, cultural changes, education and skill demand. Brain drain, many educated Indians move abroad for better opportunities. Loss of local industry, small industries and traditional artisans suffered due to competition from global products. Environmental issues, industrial growth increased, pollution and resource exploitation. Positive effect, faster economic growth and high standard of living for many. Increased choices in goods and services. Rise in foreign investment and technology transfer. Emergence of India as a global economic player. Negative effect, increased inequality between rich and poor, rural and urban areas. Loss of traditional industries like handicraft due to competition. Cultural erosion and rise of materialism. Stressful competitive lifestyle, especially among youth. So the LPG reforms transformed Indian society in many ways. They boosted economic growth and global integration. People got better goods and services, especially in urban areas. However, they also lead to inequality, cultural shift and challenges for rural and poor population. The LPG reforms brought major changes in Indian society economically, socially, culturally. A balanced approach is needed to ensure inclusive growth and protect India's unique identity. Educational problems of contemporary India, wastage and stagnation. India has made great effort to expand education, but problems like wastage and stagnation still affect the system deeply. Wastage. Wastage in education happens when students leave school before completing the educational cycle. For example, a child joining class 1 but dropping out by class 5 without finishing primary education. The time, energy and money spent are wasted because the child didn't complete education and society loses a potential skilled citizen. Major causes of wastage. Economic poverty. Families can't afford to keep children in school. They need them to work and earn. Social factor. In rural areas, girls are often withdrawn from school for marriage or domestic work. Health and nutrition. Poor health and malnutrition make it hard for children to attend regularly and study well. Lack of proper school infrastructure. Absence of toilets, especially for girls, drinking water, library and safe classroom discourage attendance. Language problem. When the school language is different from the home language, children lose interest. Migration. Many families move for work, causing children to drop out midway. So, wastage in education means students dropping out the school before completing their education. Example, a child leaves school after class 5 and never returns. Stagnation. Stagnation occur when students repeat the same class year after year without promotion because they fail or do not reach the required learning level. They may become frustrated, lose motivation and eventually drop out. So stagnation means students staying in the same class for too long without progressing, often because they fail or are not promoted to the next grade. Example, a child repeat class 3 2 or 3 years. Both wastage and stagnation are serious problems that affect the quality progress of education in India. Causes of wastage and stagnation. Poverty. Poor families often make their children work to support the family instead of sending them to school. Education becomes a burden when survival is the priority. Child labor. Many children are forced to work in fields, factories, shop or at home, leading to school dropout. Lack of infrastructure. School often lack basic facilities like proper classroom, toilet, drinking water, playground, especially in rural areas. Quality of teaching. Untrained or absent teachers and overcrowded classroom result in poor learning outcome, making students lose interest. Social factors. Discrimination based on caste, gender or disability discourages children from continuing their studies. Early marriage, especially of girls, leads to dropout. Language problem. Children from non-Hindi, non-English background struggle to understand lesson taught in unfamiliar languages. Curriculum overloaded. Heavy textbook and irrelevant syllabi make school lives stressful and uninteresting. Health issues. Malnourished and unhealthy children often cannot attend school regularly and fall behind. Consequences of wastage and stagnation. Effect of wastage. High illiteracy rates, economic underdevelopment, social problems like unemployment and crime, loss of human resources. So consequences of wastage and stagnation: low literacy rate, a large number of illiterate adults slow down national progress, economic loss, money spent on education is wasted if students drop out early, unemployment, poor education leads to low skill and fewer job opportunities. Social problem. Illiteracy contributes to issues like poverty, crime, and gender inequality. Major stagnation and major causes of stagnation. Poor quality of teaching, outdated methods, overcrowded classroom, non-availability of learning materials, socio-economic factors, hunger, domestic responsibilities and financial pressure affect students' ability to focus. Neglect of slow learner. Students who need extra help are often left behind. Effect of stagnation, frustration among students, increased chances of dropping out, longer educational cycle, it takes more years to complete grade, higher educational cost for families and the government. So measures to reduce wastage and stagnation. Midday meal scheme. Free meals encourage poor children to attend schools. Scholarship and free education. Financial help to underprivileged students. Improving school facilities. Better building toilet, safe drinking water and sports facilities. Training teachers. Regular workshop to make teachers more effective and student friendly. Flexible curriculum. Making education interesting and related to real life situations. Special focus on girls' education. Campaigns like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao aim to educate and empower girls. Community participation involving parents and local bodies to monitor and improve schools. So often stagnation leads to wastage. When children keep failing, they eventually lose interest and drop out. Both issues damage the efficiency of the education system and slow down national development. Wastage and stagnation in education continue to challenge India's goal of providing education for all. Solving these problems needs combined effort from the government, society and families to ensure that every child can complete quality education without interruption. Educated unemployment. Meaning, educated unemployment refers to a situation where people with academic qualification are unable to find suitable jobs. It is one of India's most serious social and economic challenges. When people who have educational qualification like degree or diploma do not get suitable job, it is called educated unemployment. A graduate or engineer working in low skill job like delivery or remaining jobless is example for educated unemployment. Causes of educated unemployment. Mismatch between education and job. Degrees are often theoretical, skills needed by industries are missing. Faculty education system focuses more on degrees rather than skill. Overproduction of graduates. Too many students graduate in field like arts, commerce, engineering without enough job opening. Lack of vocational training. Students are not equipped with employable skills. Slow economic growth. Not enough industries or business to absorb all educated youth. Population explosion. The number of job seekers is much higher than the number of jobs. Poor quality of education. Lack of practical training, outdated syllabus and low employability. Preference for white-collar jobs. Youth often ignore job in agriculture, cottage industries or skilled labor. Preference for white-collar jobs. Technological changes. Automation, digitalization reduce the need for manual labor. Slow industrial growth. Not enough new industries to absorb the rising educated youth. Effect. Consequences. Consequences of educated unemployment. Social unrest and frustration. Wastage of human talent. Rise in crimes and psychological problems. political instability due to dissatisfaction, brain drain, migration to foreign countries. Effect frustration and disappointment among youth, brain drain, talented people migrate abroad for better opportunities, social problems, crime, drug addiction, political unrest, economic loss, educated manpower remain underutilized. Solution: reform education to make it employment oriented, strengthen vocational and skill based training, encourage entrepreneurship and startups, develop rural industries to absorb rural youth, promote internship and apprenticeship program. Skill based education, training in practical skills like IT, repair work, tourism, health care, etc. Occasional training program, courses like carpentry, plumbing, tailoring, ITI training. Startup promotion, encourage entrepreneurship among youth through schemes like Startup India. Updating curriculum, make education relevant to real world needs. Population education. Population education is an educational process which helps individuals understand the impact of population growth on economic, social and environmental development. So population education is about creating awareness among people about population growth and its impact on resources, environment, health and quality of life. Objectives. Create awareness about the consequences of overpopulation. Make people understand the relationship between population and development. Promote understanding of family planning and reproductive health. Educate family planning and reproductive health. Build responsible attitudes regarding family size, marriage, age, gender, equality, etc. Promote small family norms. Highlight the need for sustainable development and resource conservation. Make people aware of problems like overcrowding, poverty, environmental degradation. Importance in India. India's population growth rate stresses resources like food, water, housing, healthcare and job. A large unplanned population increases poverty and unemployment. Proper population education can lead to informed decisions about marriage, family size and career planning. Helps control population explosion, promote better health, economic stability and sustainable development. Prepare youth to make informed decisions about marriage, family size and health. Topics covered in population education: human reproduction, family planning methods, effects of overpopulation, health education, gender equality and women's empowerment. Inclusive education. Inclusive education means providing education to all children, irrespective of their abilities, disabilities, or background, in regular school with appropriate support. Inclusive education means that all children, regardless of their ability, disability, background, or differences, learn together in the same school environment. It supports equality and diversity. Principles of inclusive education. Equality and equity. Every child has a right to quality education. No discrimination based on disability, gender, caste, religion, language, etc. Acceptance and respect. Celebrate differences and diversity. Equal opportunities for all. Participation. Active engagement of all students in learning activities. Special support system for children with disabilities like resource room, special educators. Adaptability. Flexible teaching methods to meet diverse needs. Adapted curriculum and flexible teaching methods. Importance. Why inclusive education is important? reduces discrimination and promotes social cohesion, builds self-confidence in children with special needs, ensures the right to education for every child, build an inclusive, tolerant and compassionate society, empowers marginalized group, disabled, tribal, minority children, prepare all students to work and live together in a diverse society, help children without disabilities develop empathy, leadership and collaboration skills. Government initiatives. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Right to Education Act 2009 mandates free education for all children 6 to 14 years, including children with disabilities. RPWD Act 2016 ensures education right of persons with disabilities. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan focuses on inclusive education, right of persons with disabilities. Act 2016 legal support for inclusive education. Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan integrated scheme for school education that funds facilitates resources and training for inclusive classroom. Integrated scheme for school education 2018 onwards. Challenges in inclusive education. Lack of trained teachers for special needs education, negative attitudes and stereotypes, inadequate infrastructure, ramp, special toilets, aids, etc. Need for curriculum modification and classroom adjustment. So, wastage, main problem, students dropping out. Students drop out. Stagnation, the cause of wastage, poverty, health, migration. Next, stagnation. Main problem, students failing, repeating. Cause, poor teaching, language barriers. Effect, frustration, dropout. Solution, better teaching methods. Educated unemployment. Main problem, qualified but jobless youth. Cause, skill mismatch, slow economy. Effect, frustration, crime, brain drain. Solution, skill development, entrepreneurship. Population education. Main problem, need to manage population growth. Cause, lack of awareness, cultural factors. Effect, resource strain, poverty. Solution, family planning, education. Inclusive education. Main problem, educate all children together. Cause, discrimination, lack of support. Effect, social exclusion. Solution, support services, trained teachers. Wastage, main problem, student dropping out. Cause, poverty, health, migration. Effect, illiteracy, unemployment. Solution, improve facilities, scholarships.